Welcome everybody to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. As you know, I talk about four different types of freedom: time, financial, location, health freedom. And in that light, I'm always interviewing entrepreneurs, marketers, influencers on the cutting edge, changing the world. So today we have Alex Pauls, and he's a passionate entrepreneur that runs a successful website design business with his wife and specializes in SEO, Google Ads. It's going to be a great conversation. I love this SEO and Google and artificial intelligence data. So, and with that, we'll welcome Alex to the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Christopher. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, I know we had connected through Podmatch, and I know you're the founder of KP Design. And so today, I'm really excited about today's conversation. Tell us more about your backstory, how you got started, and we'll delve into it from there.
Yeah, sure. Well, it all started probably about 6 years ago when I decided that I would leave my corporate job and the security of the cubicle and the golden handcuffs of a pension and sick time and all those things. I just got to the point where being part of this big giant machine and being this tiny little cog just wasn't inspiring enough for me. So I guess maybe it was kind of like my midlife crisis. Like some guys buy a Corvette, I decided to blow up my life and sell my house. And my wife and I, we put backpacks on our little kids, our two daughters. They were 5 and 8 at the time, and we actually traveled Europe. And I retired for like 6 months to between 6 months and a year. I was kind of retired and wanted to find myself. And my wife and I, we've been married for over 20 years now, and one of our goals in life was to actually work together. So after a few opportunities that I had in some sales opportunities after my retirement, I decided that this would be my chance to, align with my wife. We're opposites, so it was kind of neat that I kind of filled in the blanks of what she didn't like. She doesn't like business development. She doesn't like doing podcasts and networking. So I love doing that kind of stuff. And for me, it was just a natural thing to do the people side of the business while she's doing a lot of the creative. And I love numbers. I'm a numbers nerd. So I love SEO, analytics. I love anything to do with, trying to figure out the Google algorithm and collaborating with people. So that's kind of how it came to be on this journey. So we've been working together for going on 4 years now. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's actually, this was pre-COVID. Because I know basically, I think COVID was the world's wake up call, but you saw this, years ahead. What made you, was it, just basically, was it taking a leap of faith, or you wanted to become an entrepreneur? You wanted to go for it, YOLO?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
I love that question. That's actually a really great question. I don't think I've ever gotten that one before. So my wife was kind of one of the original work from home people. Like when I was an electrician traveling around, we're in Canada. I don't know where your audience is, but in Manitoba, it's a huge province in Canada. And we traveled all around, and she was a music teacher at that time. So it was really hard for her to set up a music studio every time we would have to move, right? So eventually she decided to become a graphic designer, web designer. She went to college, self-taught on a lot of things. And it gave us the ability to have a second income, but she could work from anywhere. And the thing that really I fell in love with was when our daughters were born and she still had that flexibility to work from home and take care of our kids. And wouldn't you know it, that, 2 years ago, pre-COVID, we were already working from home. We were already doing our thing. I mean, it sucked not being able to go to restaurants and that aspect, but for us, nobody was telling us if we were, what's the word? Like we were expendable by the government, right? Like we just kept going. We didn't have to quit our jobs or take a layoff. So that was very empowering. So I hope that was a wake up call for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I was talking to an entrepreneur this past weekend, and she was telling me that, kind of financial freedom is that's like the baseline. But then like if you have like time and location freedom, that's like even more powerful, because you can basically, you call your own shots and you don't have to ask for permission, which is basically what you did.
for
I
sure.
know, yeah, I know a lot of people, transitioning, they're interested in SEO, kind of for most people that they kind of know what it is, but for the people that don't, kind of describe what it is and how it applies to website and marketing.
Sure. Like there's different levels of SEO. There's the technical SEO. There's kind of the SEO that everybody knows about, which is like the keywords. Everybody wants to rank for keywords, but meanwhile, if all the links on your website are broken and, Google's not happy with your site because it's not crawling and it's not linked to everybody else. Like there's lots of different aspects to SEO. So I love to have those conversations with people. I try not to blow them out of the water with, I take for granted, we all take for granted when we're experts at something, how much knowledge we have. So I try and paint that picture so everybody can understand. Like really good SEO is, all the links on your website are working properly. Your website is built for mobile. First, it loads properly. You have a really secure hosting platform, so your site's not getting hacked. It's not, getting red flagged by Google. That's a big thing. Like we've had some people come to us in the past that said like our site keeps getting hacked. Like what can you do for us? And then Google basically makes it like a black flag where they'll hide it from people because it's not secure. So it's yeah, SEO is a huge topic, and it's definitely interesting because the algorithm is always changing, right?
Yeah, it's fascinating. And really so kind of like I love this thing where you can get, basically you rank super high and you get basically found on Google, kind of that's kind of like they're promoting you.
Sure.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to branding and about SEO and who needs it?
I think the biggest misconception about branding is everybody thinks their brand is a logo. That's probably the biggest misconception about branding. It's not just a logo, it's not just a $10, thing that you get off of Fiverr and boom, you're just like you're ready to go. You got this brand. A brand is, it speaks for you. When you're asleep at night, your brand is out there working for you. It's what people are recommending their friends to, right? Like the brand is that overall experience your business has with people. So if you can really cultivate that amazing immersive experience where people are like can't wait to recommend you to their friends, wow, like that is a great brand. And that's kind of not just customer service, not just like colors, that's the whole package, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as SEO goes, I really like to talk to people about finding their niche. Like it's great if Dr. Christopher just sells shoes, but if we just try and rank for shoes, I mean, we're never going to beat Foot Locker, right? Like they're number one. So let's get really, you are into orthopedic black running shoes, like super, it's like super niched. You just sell black orthopedic running shoes. That's it. You're that guy. And that's kind of how you can like carve out your little piece on the internet. And you kind of find that passion or that thing that you're really really good at, and you just get as dialed in as you can, and that helps you rank higher for SEO.
Yeah. And a lot of it is how important is a Google business profile to your business?
I would say, especially for local, I don't know if this is mainly for like doctors or people with private practices, but let's say like my wife, she got laser eye surgery. The first thing I did, I didn't even go to the website. I went and I typed in like laser eye surgery, and we live just outside of Calgary. So that's what I did. And the place that we went to had a Google My Business profile listing. The first thing I did was look at the reviews. He had like 3,000 reviews, and this is like something serious, right? This is
Yeah.
eye surgery.
Oh yeah.
So I can go to a website and it can look beautiful, but all of a sudden I have 3,000 testimonials that I can look at. So think about this for your business. How powerful is that if somewhere in your funnel you have it that after you have a great experience with a client, you send them this link, they review your business, and you're collecting all of these secret keywords that are going in the reviews. And when people are starting to search for you, those reviews are popping up on Google.
Yeah.
And then they're almost like bypassing your website and just wanting to hear what people have to say about your company. That's
Yeah.
how powerful it is.
Wow. Yeah, it's like social proofing and kind of people vouching for you.
Sure,
That's
it's like going on Amazon and buying something, right? You see the product, but then you quickly look at the reviews too, right? Like if it's a bunch of bad reviews, you're obviously not gonna buy that product, right?
yeah. I'm curious what your thoughts on because SEO traditionally, you had to like do like you had to do meta tag, you had to do hashtags, you had the keywords, you had to make sure everything. What are your thoughts on like Chat GPT and like in the intersection of Google? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Chat GPT can actually help help you quite a bit with creating content. I would say most of our clients have a hard time creating content for their own websites. I mean, we do a lot of it, but it's hard to pretend to be the expert in something, right? I would say that a client could probably go onto Chat GPT now, ask it to write a good amount. Let's say you get 80% of the meat and potatoes of content that you need for your site, and then you can go in and you can edit it and turn it into that really good, you know, piece that you need. But the flip side to that is I know that Google is starting or they're wanting to punish AI writing tools.
Oh,
So if you're going to use an AI writing tool, definitely get in there and change anything that's not correct. Obviously, spelling, any type of you know language thing. You want to make sure that it's 100% like a good read.
yeah.
And
Oh
but
wow.
you could create a lot of content quickly using a tool like that.
It's fascinating because basically OpenAI is Google's competitor, and there's some talk. I'm not sure how valid it is, but they say it's gonna take out Google, and then Google actually has the control search, so they could shadow ban people using it, and
Right.
it's gonna be really interesting, But of course, content's like 10x. It basically takes care of like the baseline, and you can basically but there has to be some human component to it. So
Sure.
um
I think that in the future,
yeah.
if ChatGPT became too big of a problem, we know that Google has enough money that if it became that big of a problem, they could squish it, and we would probably never hear from it again, or it would be called Google Chat, right? Or
Yeah.
they would just change it into whatever they want it to be.
It's going to be really interesting how AI plays out. So
Sure.
many companies. Go ahead.
I've been using an AI writing tool for probably over a year, not Chat GPT. Like I have a paid one that helps me get started with
Uh,
certain things. Otherwise, you're in an echo chamber in your own mind, right? And when you're trying to be creative or trying to create a lot of things, it's really helpful to just have some kind of a starting block, right? Just
yeah.
even if it's not perfect, just something to get you, 50% of the way there, and then you can, take it the rest of the way. It's a real time saver for people like me.
It helps with writer's block and
Sure.
are you using
Have you used this Chat GPT at all?
I've used ChatGPT. I've actually played, and then it's actually 10x everything, and it's I've also used there's a tool called the Copy AI. There's like a free and paid version.
Yeah.
It can like do like SEO optimized headlines. You can get show notes, transcript. It can like basically if like have had trouble with like coming up with ideas, it can suggest things. It can write kind of intro paragraphs, and you can plug, put things together. If you like copy word for word, it's not as useful, but
Yeah.
it's powerful.
It's really interesting when you start getting ideas from other people on how to 10x your business, right?
Yeah.
It's really neat when you collaborate with other people how to use these tools and save your time, because I'm like the part of your podcast that interests me is the time freedom, because as an entrepreneur, that we're laying the foundation, we're working like crazy, we got our pulse on everything. And it's nice when your business starts rolling and you start getting a little bit of that freedom back. But we're still in that point where we have some pretty long days, 14-hour days, 15-hour days, where
Yeah.
we're just like we're going for it. But it's part of the adventure, right? It's the
Yeah.
fun, and I even today when I was walking my dog, I was like, these really are the glory times that we're in, even if some days are tougher than others.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like I joke with my colleagues sometimes. I'm like, yeah, these days are much better. Like they kind of remind me of the med school days where you're just like hustling and but then like when you see like growth and things happen, it's like very inspiring. So, um,
Oh, for sure.
uh,
The university days, I mean, I still have, I look at my piece of paper on the wall, it's like, wow, I remember eating $1.50 Whoppers and dollar burritos and studying all night long, and just
yeah,
and it's all character building too, right? Like
yeah,
we don't realize it at that time, but we're building that foundation for putting in the hours to make ourselves better.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'm sure, this conversation sparks so many inspiring things. For people in like on the verge of becoming an entrepreneur, what are your recommendations and where do you see the your company in the future?
I would recommend to everybody out there that's wanting to become an entrepreneur to join an entrepreneur group. Be among other entrepreneurs, because your friends and your family, they'll think you're crazy. They have no idea what you're doing. Be around like-minded people, people that are a little bit ahead of you. Try and get some mentors. That is like the number one thing. That is the number one thing. And if I can just give a shout out, like one of our main groups that we belong to is the Idea Collective.
Mhm.
They're based out of Wisconsin, but we're in Canada and they have people in Australia. And this is a huge resource to people. And I can't say enough good things, but I'm sure that there's all sorts of local, entrepreneur networking events that you can go to. Be around people that are ahead of you so that you can, learn from them, get that boost, and believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, when you get that sale or when you do that thing for somebody and their business succeeds because of you, that is like one of the greatest feelings ever.
Oh yeah, you said it so wonderfully. And to end it, how do people contact you, follow you, visit your website, etc.?
Sure, you can find us at kpdesign.ca, or you can find me at LinkedIn. It's Alex Pauls, and I'm one half of KP Design. I'm just here in Canada doing my thing, trying to make the world a better place, working with entrepreneurs that are making their community amazing. Like that's who we want to attract to us. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I love talking about these things, and if I can be an inspiration to somebody, awesome.
Yeah. And for all of the listeners out there, all of Alex's resources will be in the links and show notes. And be sure to check out Idea Collective. He's on LinkedIn as well, and his website, KP Design. And with that, thanks so much, Alex, and thanks for a great conversation.
Thanks, Christopher.